Hi, everybody. We're so glad you're here with us today. I'm Leslyn Keith with Lipedema Project, and I'm here with my friend and colleague who I got to see for the first time live in person last weekend. Say hi, Gail.
Hi, Gail. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. It was so funny because we picked you up Wednesday night and I'm
Yes.
sitting at the airport. It's like 10:30 o'clock in Boston, right? And I thought to myself, okay, we're at the airport. Where's Leslyn? And I know what you look like, right? And Catherine says to me, be on the lookout for a tall, lanky blonde. Like I wouldn't know. And
Well,
lanky and
and
tall you are, and blonde.
and
Ish.
it is so nice of you guys to characterize me that way because I don't know if you noticed when we saw each other live, it is actually gray. It is not blonde, but
I didn't notice. I
but
didn't
okay,
notice.
well, for
I
sure.
was too seriously, less than I was too much madly in love with your eyes. I you looked at me with adoration and I loved
We were the Mutual Adoration Society. I mean, I have to tell everybody, that after you've known someone for several years, but never actually been in their presence before, it's pretty amazing
it
to
is.
finally
And
be together.
it was like I couldn't I just wanted to breathe your air. It was wonderful and it was so the whole entire event was so warm.
Mhm.
Everybody, because not only did I get to meet you, Leslyn, for the very first time and bask in your Leslynness, but I I got to be with Matt, with Dr. Carmody,
Yes, yes,
and there's a sparkle right there. I
yes,
mean, what a light in our world Dr. Carmody is. And meet his wife Jen, who is just as much
yes,
of a sparkle
yes.
as he is. And not only that, get this, they had us over for lunch. Or
Yeah.
well, okay, so brunch is breakfast, lunch, but they had us over for lunch, dinner. So what's that?
Leonard,
Dinner?
yeah.
Dinner. Okay, so they had us over for dinner. And they were Dr. Carmody is a vegetarian.
Mhm,
Mrs. Carmody, Jen is not. Um, Dr. Parin is a pescatarian,
mhm,
a cheese-free pescatarian because he doesn't like cheese.
mhm.
Dr. Carmody is a vegetarian with no eggs because he can't do eggs. And we're pretty much carnivore,
Yes,
right? And
yes.
then we
With
had this
Siobhan, also carnivore.
right.
Yes.
We had this huge range of dietary needs,
Uh-huh.
and Jen and Dr. Carmody put on a beautiful spread for us, which was wonderful. I walked
Yes.
in with a bowl of butter.
Yeah.
And Jen says, no one's brought butter to my house before. But
So
I was carrying
here
that
is
bowl
your
of butter everywhere.
here is your flowers and and we brought our own butter.
I felt kind of obvious. And Dr. Carmody said to me later, Gail, because I can tell that you have a very intense and curious relationship with butter.
Yeah. Yeah.
I
And
loved
and
it.
so just to tell everybody that this wonderful gathering that we had of people with lipedema simplified first getting together and with Dr. Parin. Well, it was because we hosted Dr. Parin to teach his Parin technique to several practitioners. And we had this at Cambridge College where Catherine teaches. And I have to say that Catherine was definitely the powerhouse behind putting this whole incredible long weekend together. It was, I mean, I'm still trying to assimilate everything that we learned and the fact that we were there together in person. There is just so much that we accomplished over that, and having lots of great quality time with Dr. Parin as well. I got to have Siobhan as a roommate at this cute boutique hotel. So it was a wonderful time.
Yes, it really was. And I was thrilled to be able to say that I understood a portion of what was being said.
Mm-hmm.
I was able to connect it to different people that I know in my life.
Mm-hmm.
And I was able to not necessarily witness the demonstrations of the treatment because I did step out because I was doing other things.
We were
But
doing everything support for the weekend. I mean, that was Gail in charge
it,
of, and
it,
so she was
it,
doing a lot of heavy lifting.
it literally and
Yes,
figuratively, and
yes,
I loved it. There was a point though when he was, we know when we talk about fatigue,
yes.
and I never really gave fatigue much thought. I was always like, oh, I'm tired, or oh, I'm, I'm not up to stuff. But on Saturday, I truly felt fatigued.
Yeah.
I could not face going up those stairs. I mean, it
Mm-hmm.
was like if I could just lay down at the bottom of the stairs and stay my day there, I could. I was fatigued. And you have to understand, I worked a lot.
Yes.
I was not sleeping in my own bed. I had
Yes.
traveled.
Yes.
We were very, very busy before the event, not
Mm-hmm.
just setting up and preparing, but doing other things as well and entertaining the most amazing people that I'd ever met.
Uh-huh.
And all of that. And then when I looked at those stairs on Saturday, I had to ask for help. And I don't do that very often. I don't usually
Mm-hmm.
say, oh, I can't handle
Mm-hmm.
something. I couldn't. I just couldn't even bear it. And when I realized, oh my gosh, I am experiencing fatigue today. Now that's
Mm-hmm.
not chronic fatigue, it's
Right.
acute
Right.
fatigue, right?
Right. Right.
But at that point, I thought I could not imagine living my life this way year
Yeah.
after year after year,
Yes. Yes.
And it was like, oh my gosh,
And
wow.
that is chronic fatigue syndrome, or also called an ME. And I'm sorry, I can't remember what the initials stand for, but that is the technique that Dr. Parin was teaching all of us about, was to treat specifically that. But it's also excellent for fibromyalgia. It's also good for long COVID. And because of the research and the dedication of Kelly and Jen Bell, who are doing everything they can to figure out how to help central lymphatic dysfunction, Dr. Parin also agrees that this technique is probably going to work out to be superior for that condition as well. And I have to say, Kelly and Jen Bell were there for the weekend as well. Jen is a certified lymphedema therapist and a massage therapist. So she's going to be using this in her practice, as well as doing it on Kelly to help him with his condition. And so to be there for that weekend, with that topic of study, and to have, as you said, Dr. Carmody was there, and all of our friends and colleagues from Lipedema Simplified were there, and then to be with, a dozen other therapists and healthcare providers that want to help with
Right.
with these conditions. It was just amazing.
And now there's two more certified parent technique clinicians in the Boston area
Yes.
that
Yes.
Catherine can go see.
Yes.
There's another one in Toronto now.
Yes. Yes.
There's one in North Carolina. That's Jen Bell.
Mm-hmm.
There's another one now in Maine.
Mm-hmm. Portland, Oregon.
Portland, Oregon. Christy King,
Mm-hmm.
who's going to be on my Tuesday show one of these days, coming up soon.
Mm-hmm. Yes, good.
And told me that she'd treat me if I drive Probably if
Yeah.
I drive halfway, she could drive the other half. We'll stay in the Airbnb or something.
Yes. Yeah.
But it's so we got 10 more who are certified, and a couple who are once they finish their
They-
perennial sacral
Yeah,
work.
they have to do that. Some other prerequisites they weren't able to do before the workshop, so that once they get those done and they let Dr. Parin know, then he will also include them as certified practitioners. It's and just the energy as we were leaving, and wow, I'm going to put this into practice. I'm going to help people that maybe you've been doing complete decongestive therapy for your lipedema and it's doing okay, but not really what you had hoped and maybe what your therapist thought it would do. This might be the missing piece. He talked about lipedema and lymphedema quite a bit over the weekend, and we want to try it out on people and collect data, send it to him, and it'll be this aggregate of data that maybe it will show, oh, looks like this can have possibility for certain people who have lipedema and lymphedema. This may be something that is effective for some people who have a central lymphatic dysfunction. This may be something that's effective. We're experimenting right now. We're learning.
Right, but that's where we are when we talk about being on the cutting edge of things, because right now we have our own personal treatment, self-care that we can do.
Mm-hmm.
We have surgery and manual lymph drainage and wrapping. So we have some manual therapies, but we don't have a lot of answers at all.
Yeah.
And so often our community says, well, what can I do? And we're all sitting here going, you got to join us on this groundbreaking stuff.
Yes.
You got to, because this is a grassroots thing. We're all learning this at the same time.
Right.
And so we won't have all the answers. Your doctor won't have nobody will have all the answers. So this is our turn. We are on the edge, and it's exciting. It's really exciting.
I would like to mention one other really exciting thing that happened over the weekend, that we were there with the lovely Siobhan Huggins. And some of you may know that she does lots of creative work, and she made for both Gail and I some beautiful cowls.
This is one of mine. I call this one my bacon cowl, because see how it has
there. And Siobhan knows my favorite color is blue, and so she did this in a variety of colors of blue. I just saw her she posted a picture on Facebook, and she's showing the colors as a range of colors of reds and pinks that she's now making one for Catherine. We all be wearing the signature Siobhan Huggins cowls that are gorgeous.
And what's cool about them is they're all different. It's not a pattern. She does a row or 5 or 20 or whatever. She does a stripe of one pattern, and then she changes it up and does another stitch pattern, and she just creates. So they're all unique. I have 2, because every time I saw her post one on Facebook, I'm like, oh, that one's mine. Oh, that one's mine too. So she's limited me to 2. Because there's other people in the world besides me. But my other one is Royal and Rose. So the colors are all the royal blues and the rosy colors. It's absolutely gorgeous. It's all pink and blue, and I love it. And it's a little different size because she doesn't use a pattern, so she just does what she does. Notice how Leslyn's is long, and so hers is a certain size for her skinny old neck, and mine's like all huggy on my big fat neck, my chin. We wear it the way we wear it, and they're lovely. And I thank you so much, Siobhan.
Yeah, and it was not too bad temperature wise. It was in the 40s when we were there, and I think it dipped down a little bit lower a couple of evenings when we were out. And so this was a wonderful addition to be able to wear this. So thank you, Siobhan.
I remember when you got out of the airport, and you're like, I thought it was going to be cold.
I know, I was having a hot flash right then, so I didn't even put my coat on. I'm going, oh my gosh, it's too hot here.
32. What are you talking about? It was a great weekend.
Can we put the AC on in the car?
Oh, well. What
I
can,
want to talk about something else that's exciting that is come out that we just got word at the end of this last week that our paper that we submitted to lymphatic research and biology has been accepted. And so this paper is called the Proposed Framework for Research Case Definitions for Lipedema. And so that is, I'm not sure exactly the date that is coming out, but it will be probably online in advance of being published. And it's going to be open access. So all the authors pulled together, there's 10 of us, we pulled together to make it open access so anybody can get it. You don't have to have to pay or have special dispensation in order to get to the article. But specifically, this is from what we found from reviewing the literature, this is a case definition for lipedema for research. And so when you are doing research, as we really want to support, when you're doing research for lipedema, you need to be looking at a specific population. And if you don't know what lipedema is, or your vision of what lipedema is doesn't agree with other people, then it's hard to be able to pool all those research papers together and aggregate all that data to really come up with something meaningful. So a bunch of tiny studies, if they're all using the same definition, then sometimes you can pool all that information together and really come up with some good information that people can use to improve their lives. That is going to be coming out soon, and so we're pretty excited about that.
yeah, it's very exciting that it was accepted, and it's another step in the right direction for us, and having everybody's name on that.
Yeah, and we're really excited that we have authors from really around the world, and
Right.
we have pretty much the top people in lipedema, the lipedema field, have joined us in the paper. So we're really excited about that.
Yeah, that gives it a lot of, in a sense, clout.
Mhm.
It gives it a particular reputation. Oh, look, Stanley Roxon is one, right? So,
Yes, yes.
if Stanley Roxon's on this, maybe I should read it, or
Mhm.
so it's really nice to have some heavy hitters, I
Yes,
guess is what we
yes.
can
For
call it,
people who've
co-authoring.
published a lot of works in the peer-reviewed literature. So I think that people will be taking notice. I had already published on my little ResearchGate page, we had done a poster of what's included in the paper, and that poster had been presented at the Lipedema World Congress in Potsdam, Germany, late last year. And so I just did a reproduction of that I had put online in my ResearchGate account. And lots of people are already looking at that. So they kind of had an inkling of what was going to be in the paper from that poster. And now you'll be able to read the entire paper. So pretty excited.
That's wonderful. That is exciting, Leslyn. Super exciting. So, what else do we have coming up?
Well, we have something coming up today, and it's at 6 p.m. Eastern. And I think it's a webinar that you are highly involved in. Yes, Gail?
Last I checked, I was pretty highly involved in it.
Tell everybody about it.
Okay, so it's today. Actually, it's at 6 p.m. Eastern. So if I take a look at my clock here, it's in just an hour.
Little over an hour, yes.
Little over an hour. And I'll put the link in the comments if you have not registered for it yet. If you haven't registered for it yet, and you can't go to it, you can still register and get a replay. And what we're presenting is, it's called Unlocking Wellness with Mindfulness, Nutrition, and Fasting. And so we're going to introduce the ideas of wellness. We often think about wellness as in a holistic view. Lipedema Simplified does. And what's better than looking at it through both mindfulness, nutrition, And we're going to add an extra component of fasting. And with fast, often people use fasting for their meditative work, their spiritual work, but we can also use fasting as a therapy for ourselves, for our health, on our health journeys. And so that's coming up at 6 p.m. Eastern. I will go ahead and throw that webinar link into the chat. I call it a chat. I don't know if it's a chat or
Yeah, I think
a
it's
list of comments or whatever, but this is for today.
Mm-hmm. So just coming up just about an hour, and I will, I just saw Marcia's comment in that her lymphedema leg really hurts today. And Marcia, if you're able to be there, I think that you will find some things to help, because we have found that nutrition and fasting can help with pain. There's been particular ways of eating and then suited towards you, and not eating can have a particular effect on pain. So, is that one of the things that's going to be talked about today?
It is. I'm going to share my story on how fasting has helped me recently. It has made a huge difference. And nutrition has helped as well. And I do believe that many of us who have taken a different look at our nutrition has found some relief, if not completely relief, from our lipedema pain. And so that is going to be touched upon. Yeah.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Yeah. And your story about that is pretty amazing. I mean, it's in a very short time, you had a lot of pain relief. So it's pretty startling. So please register, even if you can't be there. And we hope you can be there. I think it's going to be a lot of great information and very helpful information. I know that someone asked also in the chat, and you've already responded, Gail, info for the doctors. And can we say a little bit about Ems Box of Hope?
Sure. Ems Box of Hope was created by the community, a group of us from the community belongs to a group called Wisdom Circles. And we realized that we needed something to be able to give to the community where they could find knowledge, they could make connections, and they could have a feeling of belonging. As you look down here at the lower right hand corner of our screen, it says Learn, Connect, Belong. And so Ems Box of Hope is a website that you go to. You have to register. It'll say get free resources here once you click on it. Let me put that in the chat as well. But what you will do is you go in there, and once you get into the page that pops up, it'll say get free resources. You have to register for this so that we can get your feedback and that we can see how you're doing with it, because this was developed by the community for the community. It has doctors. It has a postcard for clinicians. It has a postcard for patients. It has information for you. It has mindfulness tips. It has any places that you can connect. It has a lot of free resources. But we created this for you, for us, by what you've been telling us you need. So if you're brand new and you have zero knowledge, like let's just say yesterday you heard the term lipedema and you're here today, you can go ahead and click on that and you can learn a lot. If you're like me and you've been hanging around for about 4 years or whatever, you can go in there and you can learn even more. Mm-hmm. It is for everybody. It's not just for people who know about lipedema or for people who don't know about lipedema. We made it like, I say we, I was not very involved with it, but I own it. I claim it. Blanche Pepitone, Julie Stewart, Judy Green, Jerry Hamill, and Deb Jersett are the ones who created this. And it is, and
All wellness
Isla,
tools.
Isla and Leah.
Yeah.
It
All,
is,
yes. Yes.
it is amazing. So get in there, click around in there.
Mhm.
It's, I think of it as there's 3 buttons, you know, and you can go into this one and then there's 3 more buttons or 10 more buttons, or you
Mhm.
go into this one and there's 5 more buttons, and you go, so it's like a tree. It's like it's like the opposite of a funnel. You get into the point and then you just start looking. You can go down a rabbit hole in that place, but it has a lot of resources for you.
So you will
So get
see
in there.
a part of it. I have a little instructional page and video to learn how to juggle.
Right.
So even if you don't want to try it, it's something fun to watch, just something to have fun. I actually had some juggler friends of mine that were visiting, and they contributed a little bit to the production of the video and stuff. So they it's just fun. And so we were trying to find stuff. What is something that can bring joy to someone's life? Because sometimes it is a heavy burden to have lipedema, and that's what we wanted to do with Ems Box of Hope, is to bring you some comfort, some joy, some sense of connecting and belonging while you're learning and sharing with others, so they can learn about lipedema.
Right. And the reason it's called Ems Box of Hope
Mhm.
is because Emmy is a cute little flying pig. We know that pigs can't fly. Emmy doesn't know that though.
Mhm.
You know, she knows she can fly. We know they can't. So she knows that anything is possible because she can fly. Her
Mhm.
name's Emmy because when she first became part of the Lipedema Simplified family, her name was Esperanza Milagros, which means hope and miracles. And so we try always to give Emmy a chance to represent us and tell us that there is hope
Mhm.
and we will find miracles.
The impossible is I'm possible, right?
Right,
So
right.
that's what we try to remember. And
Yeah.
hello from Brazil. Thanks for being here with us today. We love it when people post and say where you are. Hey, tell us what about your weather, because we've had some crazy weather in California, lots of mudslides and lots of rain. Marcia is here from Texas, and my neighbor Julie is here from Camarillo, California. So be sure and post and say where you are. We love it when we get people from around the world checking in with us.
So I noticed that Sing It, I know she's been on recently,
Mm-hmm.
and she's fairly new, and she asks amazing questions, and like she says, where can I find information from my doctor? She's from Chicago,
Mm-hmm.
and so it's always good to see you when you're on here.
Yes. Yes. Very nice. Yeah. Great. And we're thrilled to always to hang out with you on Fridays. We love it when you post comments and questions, and we kind of divert and answer those questions. Yes, Christine is here. She felt an earthquake in Thousand Oaks. Oh, I did not feel that, Charlotte. I am near there, and Christine is in Jekyll Island, Georgia. So, oh, a snowbird from New Hampshire. But isn't it kind of cold in Georgia right now too? So, so nice to have you all here. And Mona from North Carolina, where the Southeast is well represented. Very good.
It really is. It really is. And isn't Jen Bell from North Carolina? So
Mhm.
so
Yep.
she would she has a manual lymph, I want no a certified lymphatic therapist there.
Yes. Yes,
So
she is. Yep. Yes, she is. So that is gonna. Do you have anything else, Gail, before we wrap up?
I don't.
So I think we are going to wrap it up here. Okay, Julie says she felt the earthquake. I totally missed it. I hate it when I miss them. They're kind of always fun to experience. Well, as long as no one gets hurt, right?
I'm like, I have them too. I'm like, whoa, hang on, Gail. Here we go. I was alive and well in '72 when that earthquake went rumbling down the road, right down the San Andreas Fault, right past my house. I thought, okay, in 1972, I was 12. I literally thought that my brother was shaking my bed that morning, and I
Yes.
thought, no, a semi truck's going through the
Yes,
house.
yes, yes.
Yeah, the last we
Yeah.
always anyway.
Like I
Yeah,
say, as long as nobody gets hurt, they're always kind of interesting to feel. But that means they can be dangerous. Luckily, I've never experienced that, of that kind of thing happening. So,
right.
but it was a wonderful time being with everybody again today. And we will get together again, as we always do, Fridays at this time. So thank you for being with us today. And I hope if you're watching the replay, I hope you enjoyed it. And we will see you again next Friday.
Thanks a lot, Leslyn. Bye, you guys.
Bye-bye.